love our opening music. It has such a vibe to it. I love it. I really do. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the A. Go on, Miss Marcy. I hate you with the shoulder roll. We welcome to the AM Affirmation Space Podcast, where we are women supporting women. We come here to this beautiful space to share our wisdom, to share our experiences, to share our woes, to share our victories, so that what we go through, that's right, that's right, Miss Marcy. I am Black what?
Her story.
Her story.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's familiar. Anyway, stay focused, Karen. So we come here to support women because we are women who have experienced some things and we want to let you know about it. So welcome to this recording, this episode rather. We have great news. If you didn't hear in the last episode, this episode I'm going to share as well that our viewership has gone up to 16,000 views. 16,000 views, y'all. I'm like, what? When I got the notification, I'm like, what? 16,000. So I share it here, but when we get that 20,000, we're going to do such a celebration on the socials, thanking all of our community for continuing to support us. So if you haven't followed us yet, make sure you do subscribe, turn on the notifications so you know when our episodes become available, which usually they drop on a Friday morning. No, Miss Clivia, we cannot see you. We cannot. Nonetheless, I'm going to turn this over to Miss Marcy so she can introduce herself.
Well, as Karen just said, we have 16,000 views, and we have to thank each one of you for supporting this podcast, for listening to us, and for letting it resonate in your life. So we thank you. And I am Marcy Trueheart. You can find me on IG at Marcy Moments. On Facebook, you can find me on the Marcy Trueheart. And what I am a podcaster. Along with the AM Affirmation Space, I have Thursday Therapy podcast with my beautiful and more handsome co-hosts Tyrese McAllister and Jamie Tyler. And Thursday Therapy, we talk about everything that involves your mental health, which is everything. And what I do is I speak luxury words to myself. So I allow, when you and I get to interact, you get to have that luxury that I speak to me. I will pour it into you. And I have to remember to say this. I am an author. I am an author 4 times, going to be 5 times over. And that's something that I actually struggle to walk in. But I'm an author. I'm a podcaster. I am a healer. I'm an intuitive. I am God's favorite daughter. I am Marcy Trueheart. And Clivia is back. Come on, Clivia, tell us a little about yourself.
A little about me. Part of my story is on your t-shirt. Her story, hashtag her chosen story, which is part of the brand Chosen 31 Essentials, where we focus on storytelling through dance, chosen movements, publication, Chosen 31 Essential Publishing, and also media through hashtag her chosen story podcast and talk show, where you can find that on YouTube or Spotify. And all of this, you can find this on CliviaAllen.com. And it's just a privilege to serve you who are out there listening. And if you have questions about all the things Chosen 31, please feel free to connect and to learn more. And yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity, ladies.
Thank you. And I did not, so busy celebrating our 16,000 views, I didn't even introduce myself for those that are new to our space. My name is Karen Fairweather, and I'm also known as the Affirmation Whisperer and the founder of Boldly Becoming Her. In our space, we use words as the foundation of everything we do. The power of your words really do form how you shape your life. The words don't shape your life, you shape your life. But words really do dictate how you see yourself and the choices that you make. So with the Affirmation Whisperer, I encourage you to use words, as Ms. Marcy said, those luxury words to express who you are and what it is that you desire. Speak those things that aren't until they are. Remember that? We used to say that a lot in another space that we were in and also being the founder of Boldly Becoming Her, which is a space for my midlife women. And I'll say from 40-ish and up that are looking to see how they can evolve into the next version of themselves. Because we have experienced so much by this time, we have so much to do. Society says we need to go sit in the corner. I say the devil is a liar. I got so much to do. As long as I got breath, I'm going to keep moving. And I want to encourage other women in midlife through the Bolder Becoming Her platform of showing you just what it is that you can do, give you the blueprint and letting you create it for yourself. And with that being said, we're going to get into our topic for tonight. The life that fits, releasing commitments you outgrown.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of being a midlifer, we were talking in another episode where there are certain things that we did in our 20s and 30s and maybe 40s that just don't fit for us anymore. Miss Cliffy was sharing in an episode where her 20-year-old self sees her desires differently than she does right now. Her 20-year-old self wasn't as experienced and wise as she is now.
Mm-hmm.
Those same desires have not gone anywhere. And we do encourage you to hold on to those desires that you have. But as you grow older and evolve and expand and elevate, you're going to see your goals differently, right? So, with that being the case, releasing commitments that you have outgrown. And we've touched on this a little bit in a previous episode. However, those things you did at whatever time in your life that no longer serve you, when are you going to let them go? That's my question.
Yeah.
When are you going to let them go? You're doing them out of obligation. You're doing them because you don't want to ripple the waters. You don't want to upset anyone. Let's say it's something that you built over time. But in this stage of your life, that no longer serves you. Is it time to turn that over to someone else? In this community that I'm in, I remember the conversation being stated that as we grow our businesses, our organizations, what have you, we should grow them with an expectation of handing it over to someone else to give room for us to do something else. And that's a very key point, no matter what it is, whether it's your business, whether it's an organization, whether it's a relationship, commitments. If you are dealing with them as if you're going to be doing this for the rest of your life, that may not be the best way to see that, because we change, we grow, we evolve. So when that did serve our life well, now maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah.
So exploring what it is that you don't want. I don't want to invest my time. I have more years behind me than I do ahead of me. God willing, another 30 something years. I'll take that, right? But I want to live those 30 something years that I have remaining. I want to live them well. I don't want to live them doing things that don't make me smile. I don't want to be in relationships. I don't want to interact with people that drain me. I just don't want to do that. So why am I still doing that is the question. When loyalty turns into self-abandonment, let's get to these talking points. I want to comment on this point here. So my loyalty to you requires me to abandon myself. That don't even sound like that's something I should be doing. My loyalty to my job causes me to not take care of myself, to not work out before or after work, to not take my 30-minute walk on my break because my boss wants me to do X, Y, Z. Last time I checked, we don't get paid for lunch breaks.
Right.
So why am I sacrificing myself? Why am I staying up to 2:00 in the morning to help somebody with their project that they wait to the last minute to work on? Why am I doing that again? So the first talking point under this is the subtle way obligations replace what it is that we desire to do. I desire to be in bed right now. But no, I'm up on the phone with you, listening to you whine about something we've talked about 10 times. Why? Staying because history or because I'm out of alignment. I'm too afraid to put myself into alignment because somebody might be upset with me. Somebody might get upset with me. I'm going to stay in this because I've been here so long. I've been doing this task for so long. I'm the only one who knows how to do it. So, and I hate doing it. And I can use that example. The last role I had, I was in it about 3 years. I despised everything about that role except the money. And I can attest to you, money will not satisfy you when you're doing something you don't like doing.
For sure.
It will not. I don't care how much money it is, because the time will come where you have to sacrifice yourself for a role that you care nothing about. I did it. Three miserable years. I can tell you
Mm,
that. So, the emotional weight of carrying roles you never consciously chose. Ooh, I allowed someone else to make the decision for me to do this. What? What? I never chose this. So why am I doing this? The emotional weight that can you I'm sure each of us can think of something that we did at one time and how
mm.
emotionally heavy it was, because it's not something we wanted to do in the first place, but we let somebody else convince us that, yeah, you should do that right now. Why? Why?
You know, I
And
want to speak on that really quick. I
go ahead.
actually, to say emotional weight, at one point it did. Me working at the hospital
Mhm.
never was a thought. In the previous episode, like I said, my goal was to become a business owner after I graduated high school, went and got my associates and my bachelor's, everything lined up with business management, finance, and all of that. And because I needed a job, I was hired and I stayed there and I got married while in that job. And I'm like, well, now we're going to have extra bills. So I'm going to stay here. Then I had my first child. We need to be able to, my insurance is good. Let me just stay. I got comfortable. And then I didn't really choose that. It was, again, somebody referred, like, hey, you need a job. Maybe you should interview. And I stayed there 11 plus years. So it ended up being an emotional way afterwards, because I knew, okay, this chapter, it needs to close, because I was just stuck there, because I was comfortable there. Someone chose it for me, and
Mhm.
I was like, you know
Mhm.
what? It's convenient. So why not stay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I can tell you, with me in that role I was in for 3 years, I knew a year in, the Holy Spirit told me, you need
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
Okay, let me put a plan together, and then I'm going to exit the way I want to exit. Another year went by, and another year went by. You either going to go by choice or by force.
Hmm.
So when we are doing things that we know with all that's in us, we should not be doing this, but we continue. What are we really saying about ourselves, our own worth?
Hmm.
What are we really saying? And
Yeah.
finally, how midlife, being at the age we are, clarity absolutely exposes the cost of neglecting ourselves.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Staying in that situation, and you know, but because of dot, dot, and dot, you stay, which means that you are sacrificing your self worth, your own value. You have diminished your own value of your own accord because you don't want to ripple somebody else's water. Or you don't want to be in a place where you're not comfortable.
Hmm.
We don't want to go through discomfort. We want to just, you know what? I've been here this long. I'm just going to tough it out until dot, dot, dot. Right.
And if I can interject,
Go ahead.
so when me and my ex-husband separated, my biggest thing was, who's gonna want me?
Mm.
Mm,
Who's gonna want me? And I didn't want to be alone. So now I'm good with it. Both. I mean, I know, first of all, I want me, and then I'm a desirable person. So there you have it.
facts.
Hmm.
Um, but also, the being alone factor was so death gripping.
Yeah.
it was so I can't even it put me in such a place of paralyzation.
Mm.
I I didn't function for
Yeah.
months.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then and I tell people all the time, once I halfway got out of that and started doing some healing, my biggest thing was taking the trash out. I used to hate taking out the trash, but now I take out the trash with ease because of the simple fact that I have peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I allow my peace to be repossessed
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
But now I was able to buy it back.
Love that. Love that. You that's a huge point, how fear will keep us in bondage with
Mm-hmm.
something else, because we just, I don't want to do that. But when we're forced to, you are laid off, or the person leaves, or that opportunity is no longer there, the whole reason why you were staying no longer exists. So now it's a force. You are forced to change your environment.
Mm-hmm.
You are forced to do something different.
Yeah.
Especially in being forced, you're not even in a mindset to make the right choices for yourself for this new reality. And I know I went through that. Being laid off, I was like, what? I actually don't have a job. I've been in this place forever and a day. I don't have a job. What? Where am I? What world am I on? Literally, I had to go through that the whole transition. But when we really become loyal to ourselves, loyalty becomes harmful when it requires us to be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Loyalty becomes harmful when you can't say anything about it because of X, Y, and Z. So let me give this reflection point when it comes to us choosing ourselves over other things and other people. This point here is, what am I staying committed to out of habit and not because I'm in alignment? What am I staying committed to out of habit when I'm not in alignment? Write that question down and answer it for yourself. Miss Clivia?
Yeah. I taken everything in. Some words that were used was self-worth, peace, and that word of, I think you just mentioned loyalty. Loyalty becomes
Mhm.
harmful when it requires your silence. And we also mentioned the word fear, false evidence appearing real.
Yes.
And that was something that I experienced during my I want to say in that marriage that I was in, where I was embarrassed. I was thinking of what other people would think of this worship leader, dance leader, all the things, Sunday school teacher. She can't keep her marriage. She speak love, and she speak, because a lot of things was said against me. So there were eyes in the church where these people are supposed to be loving on you, encouraging you, and saying all the things that you think you would get
Yeah.
from, especially those that were married. But that didn't happen, right? So even with that, it was a struggle of not even, and I mentioned this before, I wasn't afraid to be a single mom, not even knowing what that would look like, but I didn't allow those disappointments to dictate this marriage is over, right? I had this where it says letting go often feels like betrayal, especially for women conditioned to believe that it's being good, staying, sacrificing, and accommodating at all costs. And I stayed. The marriage probably could have ended. It lasted 7 years. It probably could have ended sooner, right? But again, feeling, okay, would I be betraying the church? Would I be betraying God? Would I, maybe I should stay to accommodate them, right? To, because especially, I won't even say we, I definitely had a mask on. I would smile, and that wasn't my real smile. You guys see my genuine smile today, but there was such a mask on
Mhm.
because, again, I was probably trying to just be pleasing to others. Meanwhile, I was broken,
Yeah.
really, really broken. The fear of disappointing others is rooted in concerns about judgment, key, being misunderstood, key, or labeled ungrateful, even when walking away is necessary for personal well being.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I shared it again. I knew that I could not be the best mom to my children if I had stayed in that marriage. I would not be healthy as I am today if I had stayed in that marriage. I think maybe I would have went maybe crazy, right? Because there was so many breathing techniques I had to do just to so much woosah. And I know we do breathing techniques more frequent now on this platform, but it was something I really had to put into practice because I was not the best version of myself. Over time, the emotional labor of managing everyone else's expectation became exhausting
Yeah.
and unsustainable,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we do have some prompts that I want to mention. I'm looking for my mouse as I'm juggling this. The conditioning that says good women don't walk away. And even having the platform hashtag her chosen story, I had to make that known that you can walk away and still love Jesus. You can walk away and still love again. You can walk away and start
Yeah.
again. It is possible, and I'm a living testimony of that, and both of you
Mm-hmm.
are living testimony of that. So for those listening, you can still be good and walk
Yeah.
away, right?
Or you can dance
And that,
away.
I mean, think about even people
What'd you say, Miss
in
Marcy?
abusive,
Or you can dance away.
Ooh, 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 ooh,
right?
ooh.
And you think about even women that have experienced different levels of
Yeah.
abuse. They feel like they're stuck,
Mm-hmm.
and we understand it's scary, especially it's either I stay and live or die. Like either way,
Right.
it's such a hard
Mm-hmm.
choice. But if you find a community of women that can rally around you, that has been through that and can show you that you can walk away and still be beautiful, still be strong, still love
Yeah.
again, it is possible.
And be in
Fear
a
of being
community
judged.
of women
Mhm.
who's not going to judge you for
Yeah.
this the decision
Exactly.
that you make to
Mm-hmm.
stay and or leave.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, I didn't have that in the very beginning. It came much later, right? Years later, where I wasn't judged because not that I thought I was alone in that, but I thought I was alone. But one person actually said, "You're not the first and you're not the
Yep.
last. You'll be
Yep.
okay."
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So, again, the fear of being judged, misunderstood, or labeled ungrateful. Like you prayed for marriage, you got the marriage. Now you don't want the marriage.
I want
Say that.
this joker.
Say that. Right. The emotional labor of managing everyone else's expectations. So I'm just running through those points, even though I summarized it just now. And why disappointment is inevitable. It happens when we least expect it, right? No one gets married to get
Right.
divorced unless you were really looking to dig some
Mm-hmm.
gold. But really, it's inevitable when it comes to disappointment on different levels. And survivable. Choosing your peace does not make you cruel.
Right.
I chose peace because I knew the best version of Clivia was not in that
Yeah.
marriage.
Yeah.
He's standing right here. This is the best version
Mm-hmm.
of me, and there's still so much to on to what is it to
Right.
unpeel, right? Is that onion? There's so many
Mm-hmm.
levels to
Yeah.
that. So choosing peace over that, it's okay to walk away. So get rid of fear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me bring in this last point here because
There's more. There's a quote here.
yeah.
Pause.
Before you get to that
Yes.
quote though, I want to ask this question. I missed this and I should have included this. Is whatever it is you're experiencing, is this commitment
Mhm.
life-giving or life-draining? Choose carefully.
It would take. Mm, yes. 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 We're going to take a grounding pause. I don't know if our producer can go to I like the little the music.
Birdie.
Hopefully, we have no more background extra back. But if we can just and really ask yourself, is this commitment life giving? You just ask it, Karan, or life draining? Reflection. Ask yourself, like, consider whose expectations are you carrying? Is it your own? Is it your own health? Is it your own joy? Is it your own
Mm-hmm.
wholeness? I'll take care of
Yeah.
it. So the nature, we'll listen to the nature. I think it's nature sound. So we'll just take a quick pause few seconds. We won't do a full 60. But whose expectation are you carrying? Peace over chaos.
I love those pauses that we take just to reflect on the question and the subject. Whose expectation am I prioritizing over my own well being? And each of us, in one way or the other, can attest to that. We've sacrificed ourselves, even if it was just for a short period before we woke up. We sacrificed ourselves for someone else's situation or their priorities. But coming into the understanding, your wisdom, your experience, your tribe. Wait a minute, girl, what are you doing? No, 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 no. You're not gonna put your stuff on the back burner for somebody else. So the grief of letting go of what once mattered. I think each of us can attest to something that was it was a big thing in our lives. But today, not so much. Sometimes in the realization that, you know what, this really isn't that important to me comes along with a measure of grief because it plays such a huge role in your life, whether it was a person, a responsibility, a task, whatever. It played such a huge role that you almost have a blank, a void in your life because that no longer has a place. It's out of order. It's uncomfortable. It makes you anxious because it's still around. It doesn't serve you well anymore. So letting go of that, you're like, okay, all right, that's it, that's done, I'm done, I'm over this. And then you have to put a process together to not go back to it, because it was a habit. We did it a long time, so now I got to work to not allow myself to go back to it.
Mm-hmm.
The talking points for this: releasing something meaningful doesn't erase its value. Woo! It had
Mm-hmm.
value in your life. It was important at a time. And it doesn't, because you're no longer doing it, does not mean it didn't have value at one point. The sadness of closing a chapter you hoped would last longer. And it's just naturally we go to our marriages, right? None of us went into our marriage with an expectation to get divorced. I think we all had dreams of long-term relationships and doing
Yeah.
things together, right, Marcy? Building things together, creating things together, but it didn't last.
Yeah.
There's a sadness that comes to that. When each of us made the decision that we knew we had to make for our own peace of mind, there was a measure of sadness that came with that. I cried. I literally cried because what I imagined to be was no longer going to be. And there was a sadness that came with that. Letting go without rewriting history as a failure. Just because you had to let it go, for example, the role that I had, just because that role ended, it doesn't mean I need to rewrite it. It's over. It's done. It happened. I learned from it. I got some experience behind it. And it was a good thing when it was a good thing. And finally, honoring the season without staying stuck in it. It was a season: spring, summer, fall, and winter. They all have a time to come and a time to go.
Mm-hmm.
When it's time for that season to go, just think if I don't know if y'all see the guy on the different platforms that acts out the seasons. Just think if the season just decided he didn't want to go. Winter decided it just didn't want to go. It's just gonna stick around because it's comfortable, right? Think about that. Our lives, we honor a season without being stuck in it. You know what? That was what it was, and it was great while it was, but it's over, and it takes nothing away from my value that it's over, but I release it.
I want to say something real quick. I
Go
went
ahead.
to the Boys Mine concert the other day, and Monica, it was so cute. And it just, what she said made me think of what we've been talking about. She said, I've been hurt, I've been abused, I went through so much. And she said, I finally, God blessed me with a man that sees me and loves me. And she was like, I'm retired, y'all. She said, once she's retired. So you would think this young lady that's been out since she was what, 13, 14, right? Releasing the commitments she's outgrown. She's still singing, but she says she's retired. And now this man is loving on her. She even said she had on a dress and she crossed her legs and she was like, y'all, he got me crossing my legs. I'm sitting like a lady now. And I'm like, yes,
That's
ma'am.
amazing.
Yes. And it just reminded me of these things that we it's there, but sometimes it just takes us walking away from that season,
Yes.
embracing this woman that it was so funny. And she really crossed, she was like, this is like not me, but I'm enjoying this. It was so good. And it just made me think of our soft period, our
Yeah.
soft self, those things we've been talking about. Yeah.
And uh oftentimes, not sometimes, but oftentimes, when we allow ourselves to release, we're making room for something else even
Making
greater
room.
for
Yes.
us.
Yeah.
Even greater, even more pleasurable, even more joy, even more happiness. But because we're stuck, ooh, I've been doing this a long time. Or you know what? We know each other inside and out. Yeah, we fight. Yeah, we this. Yeah, we that. But I'm just gonna stay right here because ain't nobody else out there. How do you know?
Mm-hmm.
But that fear will keep you stuck. So let me give you this last reflection point. What am I afraid to lose? What am I afraid of that I'll lose about myself if I let go? What am I afraid that I'll lose if I let go? Think
My
about that. When
power.
it comes down to your decision making about making changes in your life, what are you afraid of that you think you're going to lose and you don't want to let go? Because the very thing that you're afraid that you're going to lose, it probably doesn't exist anyway except in your head.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In your head it exists, because if it truly existed you wouldn't have to consider letting go, because what it is you desired is already here.
Yeah.
So let me stop talking so I can let Miss Marcy do what she need to do, because I'll keep talking. Go ahead, Miss Marcy.
So, rebuilding a life that fits who you are now.
Yes.
I love this for me. We were talking before the show, and we kind of was talking about this also. You know, Marcy of old was very was in a really tough spot, but
Mhm.
Marcy of today, um, granted, there's nothing perfect, but there's definitely, what's the word? Peace. That's the word I want to use.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely peace. And where there is peace, everything else that's surrounded is it comes with authenticity.
Mhm.
So I love that, right? I love that now and moving forward, how God has me at a place of peace, um, and enjoyment. Like
Mhm.
I'm loving this life right now. I'm loving it. I'm single. Um, and like I said, if I want to babysit my grandson, which is usually I don't have to. And 90% of the time, I got something to do. Yeah, I got something to do. Okay. Okay. But no, rebuilding a life that fits you now, designing from truth, not obligation.
Indeed.
Mm.
Yeah. Just
I
Mhm.
because
don't
you're
want
doing
to
it,
go
you're not
to the
obligated to
amusement
babysit.
park with no children. That, that's just it. I don't care. I don't want to see little Mickey, big Mickey. Not with you and your kids. No. So subtracting from adding and cleaning spaces. Oh, subtracting before adding, cleaning spaces. That's clearing. I can't read that. Okay, thank you. Clearing spaces. I was like, huh? What that mean? Okay, yes. That, oh man. So I've been going around, like looking at, I've been finding old affirmations that I've written down, and only because it's so cold, I'll be like, I don't want to go out and burn them. But now I have to release those.
Mm,
Those are the affirmations that I needed 3 years ago. I
right.
needed to be in the place that I needed to have the peace. I needed to be strong. I needed that then. And
Hmm.
those desires have been answered. Now
Right.
I have to write another set of affirmations, goals, accomplishment, because what I was reading them, it's just like, oh my God, you gave me what I asked for. So, but he had to clear out depression. He had to clear out anxiety. He had to clear out the self-loathingness to add to my space of joy, of peace,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
confidence. So clear it out, clear it out, and releasing
Yeah.
commitments quietly without over explaining. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to do it. I no,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't know. So I did something at church, and I said, no, I don't want to. I'm like, Marcy, do you? Nope, I don't want to. And that was it.
No explanation.
No is a sentence.
And I know how to say it well. I know
Mhm.
how to say it well. I should have been on the poster just say no. But allowing your life to reflect your current values.
Yeah.
Wow. Honestly, I know I've come such a long way, but when my tribal hood can see that and tell me how proud they are of me, um, that right there is reflecting on what was to what is,
Yeah.
what God had allowed me to go through to get to where I am now. So I know I've said this before, but I remember I was talking to my ex husband, and I politely said, "I thank you for cheating on me. I thank you for doing everything you did, because it definitely has shaped me into a much stronger woman."
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I could be a woman of I love you with everything I have, or
Yeah.
I could be the woman of
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
forget you forever.
Hmm.
But it also reflects where
Yeah.
I am now. But that's the healed version of me. And I
Hmm.
love it.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Hmm.
So a reflection prompt. What would your life look like if it actually fit you? What would it look like? How much joy would you have?
Mm-hmm.
How much
Hmm.
peace would you have? How much
Hmm.
fun would you have? How
Right.
much guilt would you release? How
Mm-hmm.
much overtime would you work? How much staying at church afterwards would you do? How much going to your spouse's or your partner's family would you let go of? Hmm. And
Just a
finally,
question.
what would my life look like if it actually fit me?
Mm.
Hmm. And finally, the journal prompt: what is one commitment I'm ready to loosen? Okay, what is one commitment I'm ready to loosen, even if it is something in my house, even if it doesn't really, even if I don't release it all at once. Definitely, I'm trying to think, because I say no really well. What
Hmm.
commit?
Even if I don't release it all at once. Yeah.
I'm a one and done. I don't. Mm,
I'm trying to think.
I think for me, I can't think of anything that didn't release just cold turkey. Um, I don't know. I can't think of anything.
I
'Cause-
think I didn't release her like Yeah, I released a lot throughout the years. I released a lot.
Okay.
And I think one thing that I always have to remember, I released the words that somebody who was trying to um, send me further into a hole. I released the words that I used to hear their words ring again and again in my head. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I released those words because they spoke so much negativity over my life, and I accepted it.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm in a place, an empowerment place, I realize that those words can no longer rule my life because I am the complete opposite of what they said
Yeah.
I was and what I accepted to what they said. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so, definitely loosening the negative words of other people.
Yeah. 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 Very good. Very good. I love that. I love that. So, just briefly for myself, this whole subject here of what would my life look like if I were to actually, if it was in such a way that it really fit me, man, I would never be home. I'd be from one continent to the next one.
Yeah.
I literally would just travel all the time. There's no reason for me to have a house unless I'm renting it out. But I literally would be all over the place. There's so many amazing spots to see in this world
Mm-hmm.
that are out there just waiting for us to go see. I literally would not be home. I come home maybe just to say hey to people, just to put my eyes on them, but then I'd be off again by train, plane, automobile, more than likely a plane though. So I
Mm-hmm.
can get get there and enjoy it. This
Yes.
Right.
subject, I believe, is one that resonates deeply within all of us. Really choosing ourselves over somebody else is so key to us making choices that align with what we desire. When you're putting someone else's needs above yours, you're not making choices for yourself, you're making choices for them. So releasing commitments you've outgrown. If it doesn't fit, let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. Just let it go because you're not serving yourself well. You're not serving yourself well. My affirmation is I release commitments that no longer honor who I am.
Yeah.
I once served, what once served me has completed its assignment. I blessed it and I let it go.
Amen.
I'm not shrinking back. I am making room.
Mm,
Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Hebrews 12, verse 1.
yes, yes, and yes. We want to encourage each of you, just as you heard our story of how we reclaimed our lives and took control of it. We encourage you to do the same thing. It's not always going to be easy. Sometimes you have to try, and try again. But the life that you've been blessed with deserves you living it well. I'll say that again.
Mhm.
The life that you've been blessed with deserves you living that life well.
Yeah.
Don't get to the end and have all those regrets.
Mhm.
As we've all heard, the graveyard is filled with dreams and desires and ideas. Don't let that be you.
Yeah.
With that being said, everybody, thank you so much for listening. We encourage you to subscribe and make sure you turn that bell on so you know when we have dropped a new episode, which is usually on a Friday. We thank you, Affirmers, for listening. We thank you for the 16,000 views.
And more.
We thank you so very much for that. Um, with that being said, please, 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 Miss Clivia, remind the Affirmers of our closing statement. What is it?
You are your first priority, so act like it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. With that being said, everybody have a great rest of the day, whatever time of day you are listening to this. And until the next time, peace and blessings to you all. Bye bye now.